Have you ever broken a coconut? Well, the country where I come from, we break a coconut before starting anything auspicious. So here I go. Got it?
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our third annual Synergies Work Gala presented by Coca-Cola. We are live, so things are going to be a little crazy tonight, but we're going to get things rolling. I am your host, Kashi Sehgal, for the evening, and we want to thank all of tonight's sponsors, all of you for joining us today. In India, breaking a coconut is symbolic. It's a symbolic self-sacrifice for the welfare of all beings, and it's a way to really start a special evening. And so that's what Arthi did tonight to start us off. It's going to be an amazing evening tonight, so let's kick things off. Tonight's theme is reimagine, as you might have seen from all the graphics. And we want you to reimagine what it's like to attend a gala. Tonight, we're virtual, and the team has put in a ton of hard work. It's going to be great. But we're also inviting you to reimagine a better and more equitable tomorrow where people with disabilities have equal opportunities to both grow and thrive. Synergies work is committed to economically empowering people with disabilities by helping them build sustainable businesses. And you're going to hear more from some of our entrepreneurs tonight. We have a very fun night planned. We have two very special guests. The first guest is going to be Suvira Saran. He is a master chef. He was the first Indian chef to actually be rated with a Michelin star for his Indian restaurant in New York City. And now he's living in New Delhi, and he's joining us very early in the morning over there. But he's joining us for a fireside chat, so that's going to be great. Our second guest is John Eicholtz. He is an award-winning sommelier in New York City, and he was named the best young sommelier in 2019 in America. So very special. Get your questions ready because I know you guys are going to have great questions for them. He's going to take us on a virtual wine tasting journey. We're also live streaming to Facebook and to the website, so you can send us comments, questions. We're going to have some pop quizzes for you. So we want you to send us your answers, post your outfits. I hope all of you are looking fabulous at home in your black tie affair and your slippers. And so get the questions rolling for our guests. We're giving away a ton of prizes tonight. We really want to thank you for being here and for participating. So we are doing a cheese board competition, or whatever you're snacking on tonight while you're watching. So get those cheese boards ready. We want you to post the pictures of your cheese boards on Facebook and on Instagram, and we're going to pick the best cheese board. The hashtag for tonight is hashtag SW, so Synergies Work, SW Gala 2020. You can see it scrolling on the bottom of the screen. And make sure to tag at Synergies Work so we can find it and get you your prize for the best cheese board. We also have an offer from one of our partners, Costa Coffee. I remember seeing Costa Coffee in India. They're based in the UK. I've seen them in India, and now they're coming to the United States. So they have a great offer for everybody attending tonight. It's 25% off and free shipping on your order of 2 items or more on their website, costacoffee.com. The code is holiday25, and maybe we'll screen it, scroll it throughout the evening so that you remember. But don't forget, holidays are coming up, and this would be a great present. So there you go. That's for joining us tonight. We want you to enjoy the evening, obviously, but we also don't want you to forget that today is Giving Tuesday. And what a great way to end the day, but with us. And so we're so happy you joined us. We're going to give you all kinds of reasons tonight to donate if you can. We have a free, so if you donate $100 or more, we're going to give you an original print from a Synergies Work artist. And we're obviously going to thank everybody throughout the evening. So definitely listen up. We also have a raffle, and we've got amazing prizes. Session with John Eicholtz, our sommelier, a private session. We've got handmade dishes and original art. We've got tickets to SeaWorld and an iPad mini. So please go to the website. Tickets are $5, and the button's at the top of the website, and you can buy as many tickets as you want. Stock that pot full of your tickets, because you definitely want us to pick your name for one of these prizes. We've got a ton of them. Okay, so I feel like that's a lot of instructions to start off the show, but there's some housekeeping we needed to get through. But now we really want to kick things off and get into the full swing of this evening and welcome our founder, Aarti Sehgal, and her story of how Synergies Work came to be.
I'm a mother of 2 young men. My youngest son, Angad, has Down syndrome. His birth changed my life's trajectory in a good way. When he was born, Amit and I made a simple promise to ourselves that we would provide him with the same opportunities to grow, to flourish as our oldest son, Arjun. And I quit my job in the corporate world to start working in the disability world. But believe you me, there are 2 different worlds, the one for people with disabilities and one without. Around 3 years ago, my older son Arjun quit his job with a bank to pursue his dream and passion. He wanted to have his own startup. And that's the time I said, you can do that, but is that an opportunity that Angad would have? And that's when I started Synergies Work. It's a platform, a space that we are creating that allows and supports people with disabilities to start their own businesses and build them sustainably. That is not just start, but also make sure that they are sustainable beyond that. And that's what we do. That's my why. And how we do it is by grounding it in 3 principles. Principles of love, equity, and respect. At Synergies Work, we firmly believe that everybody has a passion and a talent. And if that talent or a gift could be a gift of hand, of heart, or a gift of head. And what we do is believe that they have a gift. And we want them and surround them with that belief till they start believing in themselves that they have a gift. And that, I think, is fundamental and critical, because only when we believe that we have a talent and something to offer to the world, magic happens. We open the door of opportunities for people. We create a holding space for them so that they can go out and fly and flourish. And that's our mission. We want them to achieve their dreams. That's what Synergies Work is all about. Hi everybody, welcome. Thank you for being with us today. As you all know, this 2020 has been a tough year for all of us. It's been astonishingly scary, difficult, and a very raw year. So much so that it has made us grow, and grown we have at Synergies work. I remember on March 9th at 10 o'clock, I sent out an email to all our organizers, volunteers, and called off our art exhibition at the state capitol the next day. It was a tough decision to be made because we had spent weeks before that putting things together, but definitely a wise decision at that to take. In the next few days, the world shut around us and all our dreams and plans for the entire year flew out of the window. But one thing I knew was that we could not let COVID or fear dictate our decisions going forward. So within a few weeks, we pivoted to an online platform. We reached out to each and every artist and entrepreneur of Synergies work. We sent them care packages to whoever needed it. We invited artists from outside Synergies work and within Synergies work to take art classes. And I'm proud to say that COVID didn't scare us. It only made us more bold and fearless. And we, sorry, at that I just lost my track for a minute. And we gathered people together and we expanded our services and our reach. One of our artists, Alec, and his mother, Nancy Potter, joined us every week as they traveled from Nebraska to Illinois. And she reached out and said that these Zoom meetings that we held every week were her source of strength and anchor. And I tell her that these meetings were a source of strength and a source of joy for me. It made these last 8 months have brought together our community of artists, entrepreneurs, and business leaders together, and that has made us stronger. We have grown to become a strong community of 50 entrepreneurs and artists today. We have expanded and helped 15 other businesses. Through our webinars, we have reached out to thousands of more people where we connect by connecting the business leaders and our Synergies work entrepreneurs together. And we do all of this for free, at hardly any nominal charge to all our participants. Let's hear it from two of our entrepreneurs, May and Brandon, in their words, what we do.
May is minimally speaking. She has some words. Frequently, there is a disconnect between what she knows she wants to say and what her mouth and lips and breath are able to express on the spot. Therefore, she uses a letterboard, she uses a tablet. She is fully literate. Everything we have ever said, done, taught, watched on TV, it's in her brain. We talk a lot in this house about providing more brain food, be it through great courses lessons or recording Nature and Nova to play again later or watching CNN Student News. Whatever it is, May needs more intellectual input, even though it may be difficult for her body to be in a classroom in non-COVID times. Her brain wants input, and then she wants to express her feelings and her energies through color, through her painting medium. When she makes a gift for someone, she is using colors that evoke that person's energy. I want to thank Synergies Work for providing this gathering of young entrepreneurs with rich content, with deep dives into brand and marketing and business planning. I want to encourage all of you to support this organization's mission to educate and enrich the lives of those with disabilities by providing the same level of marketing and internet savvy expertise that one would expect in Fortune 500 companies.
Before Synergies work, I was in and out of several mental health facilities. I had a lot of psychiatric problems that were undiagnosed for a long time, and I crocheted just to keep calm. I had nothing. I was donating all my stuff and not making a penny. Now I see the faces of my clients. I see their happiness, their sorrow, their disappointment, their angst, whatever they feel. Now, instead of just making stuff, keeping it, and then donating it to like the hospitals or the various places, I can now sell my items, which gives me money in my pocket and a goal in my brain. Synergies has helped me tremendously. It has given me a drive, a purpose. I feel fulfilled when I get up in the mornings, when I'm making something for a client.
Since he's become involved with Synergies Works, he's become a lot more happy, a lot more joyful. He thrives on taking orders from clients and crocheting something that they specifically want. He's more calm. He seems to feel like he's found his place, like he feels like he's found a spot where he's accepted finally in the world.
Hey everybody, I'm Karen Hunter. I'm chairperson of the Synergies Works board. And I love those stories that May and Brandon have to tell. And those stories are only possible because of the generous donations and support of our whole community. Our community, like Kay Kirkpatrick, who just donated $100. So thank you so much. For this hour and for this donation period, we have a really modest goal. We really only want to raise $10,000. It's not a huge amount, but every little bit continues to help people with disabilities become entrepreneurs, giving them purpose and giving them financial power that they would not have had. As a board member, I'm super proud of the way that Synergies Works has really stayed true to their mission this year, especially with all of the changes and all of the shifts that we've had to make. We're just scratching the surface. We've got 100,000 people with disabilities in the state of Georgia, and only 1 of 3 of them is employed. So Synergies Works is giving people more opportunities with talent, with dreams, and with passion to succeed and to have their own economic capabilities. We're scaling and we're launching, and we have a vision for next year to double the amount of people that we're impacting in the next year. So I know a lot of you are already one-time donors. You've donated in the past. Some of you might be sustaining donors. And for those, we thank you so much. But if you haven't invested, or if you haven't invested this year, this is your chance. Go to our website at www.synergieswork.org and become a sustaining member today. Every dollar you donate goes to support a micro business through 4 unique programs, and you can donate at different levels. The first program is our open Art Incubator, our studio where the communities come together to learn new techniques. They get access to art supplies. They get access to art instruction through the fabulous Bill Ruck. A $100 donation will provide a month of art supplies for one of our artists that they wouldn't normally be able to have. Once we've got that art, we have an online platform, which is our second pillar. That online platform allows us to market that artwork and market materials to the community. So a $250 donation is going to provide a month's worth of e-commerce support. So all of that background, all that infrastructure that needs to be put in place, the non-sexy stuff, but super important in making sure that we've got all of the elements in place to allow our artists to have the marketplace they need, particularly right now when they can't be out in galleries and they can't be out showing. The third pillar is micro grants, impact grants that are helping our community. A $500 donation will help us produce a micro grant or an impact grant for one of our artists or one of our entrepreneurs. This is money that they wouldn't normally have that allows them to buy supplies, allows them to go to a printer and buy publicity materials. So these impact grants are incredibly important, even at these small levels. They're allowing the community to build up. And then finally, our fourth platform is this incredibly special eye-to-eye startup program that's providing hands-on training and mentoring to help our entrepreneurs understand what they need to do to be business people, to grow a business, to be a startup. It's an inclusive startup community that really allows this different and highly passionate group to have the same opportunities, as Arti mentioned, that anyone else would have. $1,000 would cover part of this eye-to-eye program. That's no cost to our members. We're providing all of the tools for them. And so these are levels that you can think about providing. We'd love for you to invest in Synergies work today so we can together imagine a better tomorrow. Make a donation now. Again, it's www.synergieswork.org/donate. Give whatever level you can. And we'd love to have you as a sustaining member. Then you don't have to think about it. It just comes through every single month. So thank you again for those who have already donated. And thank you so much for those who are planning to donate. We really would love to see all of those donations start to come through in this hour, and we'll be recognizing those later. Hey, Kashi, we've got a great set of guests today, and I am a total food and wine nerd. So I'm really, really excited about them.
Me too. I can't wait. What a great pairing. Okay, I promised you pop quiz questions. So before we get to our first guest, we are going to do our first pop quiz question. And the question is, where are wine grapes originally from? And if you answer it correctly, here's an example of a mask done by one of our Synergies work artists. You'll get either a mask or a t-shirt if you answer it correctly, if you're the first one to answer it correctly. And we're monitoring the comments to make sure we see your responses. So we'll catch the person who gets this first. Okay, don't forget your raffle tickets. Don't forget your donations. We are going to move straight into introducing our guest. I'm going to read this because I want to make sure I don't leave anything out. All right, so Suvira Saran is an award-winning chef, consultant, restaurant, farmer, top chef master for all of you guys who are Bravo fans, and a public speaker. He was born in New Delhi, and he came to New York to study the visual arts. When he started cooking, he started casually, so cooking for friends. And then it became a very successful catering business. And then he became executive chef of a restaurant called Davy in New York. And the restaurant earned a Michelin star, and it was the first non-French, non-Italian, and first Indian restaurant to earn this honor in North America. So that's pretty awesome. Suvira's written 4 books. They're all, 3 of them are celebrated cookbooks. One of the cookbooks, Masala Farm, was a James Beard Award finalist for the Best American Cookbook. He has a new book out now. It's called Instamatic, and he uses just an iPhone. He's taken pictures with the iPhone, and he's trying to show people how we can broaden our horizons and humanize one another one image at a time. So pretty special. His recipes and his writings have been featured in many national and international newspapers and magazines, and he teaches popular courses at the Culinary Institute of America in partnership with the Harvard School of Public Health. So he's pretty smart too. He's launching several new restaurants in India. He's done so many things. You really need to just check him out for yourself. But without further ado, I want to bring Suvira on screen. Suvira, welcome, and thank you so much for being here. It's 5 a.m. in India, right?
It is.
Yeah, so thank you for getting up early and being with us.
My pleasure, Kachi. How are you?
Okay, so I want to jump straight in, Suvira. The reason that it's so special to have you, one, because we love you, but also you understand what some of our entrepreneurs are going through. And I want to share this with everybody who's watching. But in 2018, Suvira moved back to India because he had a bit of a health crisis, kind of a major health crisis. You had a mini stroke, and it caused memory loss. It caused loss of motor skills, concussions, and you also lost your vision. It didn't slow you down, right? Within a month or two of you being home, Suvira was actually planning launching his first restaurant. He obviously has released this book, so that took some planning. So this entrepreneurship idea really seemed to live within you even during this time. So first of all, what was it like going from being abled to having this disability?
I got to learn what so many people across the world have to face every day. And it taught me that, there's no reason for any of us to shun or shame disability, because we're all just one heartbeat away from it. And it got me closer to becoming a human being and understanding how little I appreciated how much I had. And that's the awakening that happened.
Yeah. So how did the entrepreneurial spirit help you through this rough time?
It gave me hope. It gave me dignity. It gave me purpose. It gave me discipline. It gave me a reason to keep living and trying and wanting to be one with the world. And that's such an important thing to have, because if you don't have any of these, if you're hopeless, what's the reason to live?
That is a good point. Okay, so you went to school for the visual arts. What perspective did you gain through your studies, and how did this influence your cooking? How did this influence your life? Obviously, it's influenced your new book. So could you talk a little bit about those things?
The visual arts, even before we eat with our mouths, we see. So no matter what we do, whether we are selling a shirt or selling food or a book, it's with your eyes that you first look at something, even consider it as being something you'll want to grab or eat or read. So I think the visual arts are the most important, and they've informed who I am, from how my food looks to how I share it in an Instagram post, or in the case of a book, what photographs I share of it. The visual arts have never left me. I realized the arresting power of the eyes, that if you were able to grab somebody's attention visually, the rest would become easier after that. So I think we must all appreciate the visual arts a lot more than we do, because in the details of the visual artistry that brings us closer to other avenues that give us pleasure lies the details that make life more interesting, magical, and fulfilling.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess that's why Instagram is so popular. You see everybody's food all over Instagram, right? So what advice do you have that would help someone else who is not disabled or doesn't think they're disabled? How would you give them advice to be more empathetic? Like, what were the assumptions about people who had disabilities? Like, what assumptions did you have before, and what were you surprised by?
I was surprised that when I was unable to see, I became a crybaby. I was restless. I was defeated. I was hopeless. I was willing to give up. And in that moment, I realized how lucky I was, and that it was incumbent upon me to make sure that all those other people who have so many bigger challenges than I do, that they get their due respect, their due support, opportunity, access, because we have so much. When we think we are not disabled or have disability, we take it for granted and we are entitled and we pretend we're just disconnected to the world at large. But really, as I said, we're all one heartbeat away from being disabled. And if we just remember that and we look at the other human being, we don't have to give money or even do much more. If we acknowledge their presence, if we make sure that the access they have to everyday amenities, to opportunities, to just respect for living in a civil society is available to them, that alone will be a big battle won by them. And I think we just disempower people by not even noticing who they are.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you have a mentor or someone that helped you through this process? Like, what kept driving you forward? And did you have any sense of community while you were going through this?
So, of course, my partner, Charlie, my mother, they rallied behind me. And even as I was giving up the idea of life and living as I knew it, they kept connecting me to the community, which was a community of friends, family, people on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. Social media has tremendous power. And in this day and age, even if we sometimes scoff at it, it can, it brings people together so seamlessly that the online community, my mother, my partner, and all my relatives and friends, they just were there for me. And they were there for me without judging me, without questioning my cranky bursts. They just kept telling me there's a tomorrow, these are the tools you need, this is access to opportunity, there's hope. And I think that's what did it for me. And of course, that's what I want to make sure we give to all our human brothers and sisters, because for the world to be a civil society, we have to make sure all of us have equality of access. There's equity in our lives.
Absolutely. So it was those people in your community and in your network who reached out to you and said, but look, here is something that you can do, or here's, some program or something that can help you get the restaurant off the ground, or book, or whatever it is, right? Didn't they encourage you to write the book?
They encouraged me to write the book. They made finances happen for a restaurant. They held my hands to make sure I could stand and teach somebody how to cook like I did. So it takes a village, as Mrs. Clinton told us, and it's true. So if we all come together and just help each other a little bit, sky is the limit for what can happen for people with disability, or those of us that think we are far away from it.
Absolutely. Suvir, what is the secret ingredient that makes Suvir Suvir?
My good looks,
Of course.
No. I think gratitude, and I if there's anything that I believe in deeply, is that every minute we live is a minute we must appreciate. We can't be complaining about what was. We can't be thinking too much about what will be, because if we are not grabbing every opportunity that's coming at this here and now, we are totally silly. So I think for me, gratitude that I'm living today and grabbing every opportunity life sends my way is the thing that keeps me going, because I see opportunities in every moment. And every time people think life is going to fail, life is going to be disappointing me, I see magic and it comes my way and I'm smiling. And I think that life is so beautiful and so full of surprises. We just need to have eyes wide open and be ready to feel it, and things happen.
Well, that is great advice for anybody. I want to open this up for audience questions, because I know that people definitely want to hear from you. Okay, here's a question. What do you miss most about New York City?
New York City.
Yeah.
I miss the grit, the grime, the crime, the reality. It's just the fashion, just New York, how New Yorkers live a minute, that we pack so much into it. And most of all, the mosaic of humanity that you see in New York City. You could be of all types, from all parts of the world, And what we speak commonly about is that hope for tomorrow, the ability to realize our dreams and to make the impossible possible by living in New York City.
Yeah. You don't feel like Mumbai has that same energy?
They do, but New York is New York.
New York is New York, of course. Of course. Okay, here's another question. How do you stay inspired in the kitchen? Where does your creativity come from?
Memories past. In fact, there's a book called Memories Kitchen, which was written about, which is about the recipes shared by women in a concentration camp in Tarazin. And these women kept passing down recipes as they were taken away to be killed. And each one then remembered what the other had taught her. And I thought the Memories Kitchen is the most fertile inspiration. And then, of course, seasons and my travels across the world and friends and family telling me their favorites. All of that comes into the inspiration palette that makes food both pretty, tasty, and hopefully memorable in the kitchen.
Yeah. Abani wants to know, what is your favorite food? And I'm going to add on to that and ask, what is your favorite American food that you miss being in India?
I love I miss my New York City pizza, that slice that is sometimes even a 99-cent slice. I miss that. The others I can make on my own.
Of course.
But what is my favorite food is what I'm craving at that moment. Again, the season, the moment in time. Is it a celebration? Am I sad? Do I need comfort? Do I need something exciting? That makes me crave something in particular.
Sure. Oh my gosh, we have so many questions coming in for you, Suvir. Okay. As a non-Indian cook, so clearly this is not me. As a non-Indian cook, what dish would you suggest cooking with to start? So I guess an Indian dish. Where would you start?
So there's... Eat potatoes. Just take some boiled potatoes and in a pan, fry a little bit of clarified butter or even vegetable oil and throw in some cumin seeds, some whole dried red chilies, and now fry those potatoes till they're crispy with a little salt, a lemon juice, and you have the best cumin-scented potatoes that will make you forget any other kind of potatoes because it makes the potatoes get a personality, it makes them sassy, and it makes them more fun and delectable. So, spices are the arsenal we carry with us in Indian kitchens. And if you get to know them, they don't have to be Indian. The food just becomes food with personality, with comforting powers, and the ability to thrill, excite, and make people float into lands near and far with the taste that they taste.
Oh my gosh, you really are an author. Painting with words. Okay, so. Suvir, we have so many questions. I'm going to end with one more question, and then we are just going to have to wrap up with you because we need to keep it moving. What is your secret spice? What's your go-to spice?
I think I just mentioned it, cumin, because it can be, when you cook it, it can be savory, it can be very foresty, very woody smell. When you grind it and toast it, it becomes this umami packing flavor punch. When you just fry it in oil for a couple of minutes, it gives food a depth of flavor. It's magical. It's almost like bacon bits of Indian cooking. And it has an amazing personality and will make people do the right thing because I think you're inspired to live. And I hope more people will play with it and keep giving money to Synergies works and support artists that need that opportunity to just live life with the dignity they deserve.
Absolutely. Okay, so Suvir, thank you so much for joining us. Tell us where we can get your new book or any of your books, all of your books.
On Amazon for sure and bookstores across the world. But the new book, the fourth book, Empathetic, will be on in the US in March. And I'll be there touring, hopefully, if things get better.
Perfect. Well, I will get my copy. No delay. All right. Suvir, thank you so much for joining us. Please go back to bed or get some chai. Okay? All right. Thanks so much. Okay, everyone. So let's do our answer to pop quiz question number 1. So the answer to where wine grapes come from is Georgia. Georgia, the country, not Georgia, the state, which is where we are right now. I hope all of you got that right. And if you didn't, you learned something new. All right, let's do a few shout outs to some people who have donated. Oh, wow, we got a big one. Thank you to Aruna Rao for donating $300. Woohoo! All right, awesome. Lots of donations coming in. Archana Sakhuja, $100. Amit Sehgal, $100. Mina Hong, $100. Nancy Porter, $250. So we have them rolling in. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. I know that Arthi and the team really appreciate it. Your money, all this money, directly supports the work of Synergies work, artists and entrepreneurs. And so we want to share another great story with you right now.
We were teaching in a classroom, but then whenever COVID hit, we were no longer allowed to work in a classroom, but I was convinced that our students didn't want to stop. So we tried an online version of it, and I am so happy to see how well that has worked. I mean, I'm just blown away with how we've come up with a whole new way of doing art. I never would I have thought you could teach people to do art through the internet, because I've always viewed art as a hands-on thing, but I'm just I'm going to try not to get emotional because I'm just so happy about how it worked. I mean, we came up with, basically the way I look at it is COVID tried to stop us, but we found a way to keep going, and that's what art is. That's why I just love this stuff.
People ask me, what is Synergies work and what does Synergies work do with artists? Well, it's like cultivating wine. You know, we have wonderful artists that really need some assistance in order for them to be fully realized. As you know, grapes need tenders to make sure that they can become their full potential wine. So in that, we have a lot in common that way. So our goal at Synergies work is to actually provide that for our artists. And it comes in different forms, you know, because no one's the same. No artists are the same, as no two wines are the same, because there's so many different varieties. It could be helping them through website development. It could be through helping them with their social media or small business plans. It could be giving them more art lessons, and it could be something as simple as more art supplies, wherever the need is. Our goal is to help them meet their needs so that they can be fully realized. So I have a wonderful opportunity to introduce the next guest. He is 2019 Best Young Sommelier of United States, and if that wasn't enough, he is the second Best Young Sommelier of the world. He started all of this through a summer internship at Murray's Cheese. Go get that. And he likes to call himself a theory nerd, lover of rap music, lover of helping nonprofit organization, aka Salsa Papi. I present Jonathan Eicholds.
Perfect. Well, hello, everyone. Thank you all so much for taking the time this evening to spend time with Synergies work and create such an amazing opportunity for many to create art and explore different entrepreneurial endeavors in their lives. So today, we're not only going to reimagine a variety of different things, but today we're going to focus on reimagining wine and reimagining how we focus on the things we love drinking each and every single day. So in tonight's talk, we're going to start off looking at what is wine, where does it come from, why is it even important in the grand scheme of culture? Then after that, we're going to talk about kind of the new ways we can interact with wine in the 21st century. And after that, a little run through of how to taste wine, how to think about it, and some other really great ways to learn more about what you like, what you dislike, and how to explore this extremely wide world of wine. So first and foremost, and the amazing opportunities we have today is we now live in the greatest time ever to drink wine. There was more access to education, more access to fantastic technology, and more access to amazing terroirs in countries that make wine that we never thought would make wine before. So we think about wine in general. Wine we associate with Europe and Roman history and Greek history. But weirdly enough, as we just learned in our first pop quiz question, wine, or Vitis vinifera, the grape that's perfect for winemaking, originally comes from the Caucasus, or the country of Georgia. After kind of a few interesting indigenous endeavors of the Vitis vinifera, the Phoenicians fell in love with this vine-growing plant that grew rampant and wild, and when you let the grapes sit around for a little while, they then became wine, which became quite delicious. So the Phoenicians then took it upon themselves to take these grapes from the Caucasus and spread it all throughout the Mediterranean Sea. Then from that, we go into the Greeks, who loved wine and had gods of wine and plenty of ceremonies with wine, and can also find the first ever use of the sommelier in Greek culture, where it was the person who would dilute the water with wine, vice versa, to make sure there was a great conversation every evening at the forum. After the Greeks loved wine, it then went on to the Romans, who took it all throughout the rest of Europe, and then we moved towards a colonial era where we see grapes leave Europe and go towards the rest of the world. And I think for many, many years, and for many people who first started to learn about wine, we typically see it as this European product, and Europe is so great, and Europe's the only place for amazing wine. What's absolutely fantastic is today, in 2020, we have the greatest opportunity to drink some of the best wines in the world coming from South Africa, or Chile, or America, or Australia. So I think it is time for us to leave that mentality of, okay, only great wine comes from Europe, and it's time for us to truly understand all the amazing things that the world can offer. So as we see kind of in the rotating slides, a few kind of fun facts going around and a few things to kind of prime everybody to think about reimagining wine. So the first thing I want to highlight is, as we see that map of the world come along, we see this really cool band between the 27th parallel and the 50th parallel. And what this designates are the great places in the world to make wine. Here between these parallels, we typically see 4 seasons, and the grape does need 4 seasons to not only ripen and create juice to then become wine, but when we have these 4 seasons, it also creates a great opportunity for the roots to dig into the ground and really make a name for themselves there, and for the branches to grow back each and every single year, and a variety of other interesting biological things we see happen in the vineyard all year long. So basically, if you are within that parallel, you pretty much have a great opportunity to possibly make something great. Obviously, there are some things, say you are in a swamp, which isn't really great for making wine, or you're too high up where there's not enough sunshine to make wine. There are some exceptions, but nonetheless, we have a really cool opportunity to see all the delicious wines from all throughout the world. So when we think about wine, another question we have to ask ourselves is, what is wine? So wine is grapes, just grapes, and grapes alone. The really cool thing about wine is it's just like sculpture. Every single year, nature dictates what it gives us. Maybe we'll have a warm vintage and the grapes will be high in sugar and lower in acid. Maybe we'll have a super cold vintage and the grapes are barely ripe enough to make alcohol. So we really have these cool things that nature gives us, and it's our job as humankind or winemakers to turn this marble in front of us into a beautiful statue. So what's really fantastic about that is each grape has its own DNA and its own different possibility to create flavors. And each region has their own opportunity to create different flavors with these grapes based off the climate and the soils and all the different impacts we can see from us interacting with the vine. So I think it's definitely a really important thing to think about, that it's just grapes. So when we go to drink wine, we can think about the grapes we enjoy, whether we really like drinking Cabernet, or we really love Zino Magro or Aggioritico, or maybe we really like having Bacchus. We can think about how these grapes not only have their own personalities and their own unique flavors, but at the same time, when you put them in different environments and offer them different opportunities to grow, we can also see different flavors based off of the different climates. So one of the things I always strongly recommend is, say you really like a grape variety. Say you love Pinot Noir and you love Pinot Noir from Burgundy. Here we're looking at a place that's typically a colder climate, that's more focused, that creates more kind of tart fruit and earth-driven flavors, where we take that grape and put it into a much warmer climate like the Sonoma Coast. There we're going to see something that gives off more jammy, strawberry-driven flavors, maybe some really aromatic black tea. So we have this really cool thing to see, hey, maybe we like these tartar fruits, and if we like these tartar things, maybe we should try other red grapes that have that focus and chisel and brightness to them. Or say we like these more generous flavors, we can not only just explore Pinot Noir in a hot area, but we can also explore other hot climates, vice versa. So it's really amazing about the world of wine today, as we have this great opportunity to not only try all these different grapes of the world, but also try all the different environments that offer them. So when we talk about grapes in the world, some really interesting things to think about. About 5-6 years ago, the most planted grape on this whole planet was actually a little known white grape known as Airen. Airen is this grape that is planted all throughout Spain and is typically used for brandy or kind of local wine to drink in the tavern. Also, for many years, the Spanish would ship the Airen to Germany for them to make very easygoing sparkling wine to drink in the non-beer drinking areas of the country. But as the world has gone on in the past couple of years, Cabernet and Merlot have very quickly overtaken Airen as the most planted grapes in the planet, with Cabernet taking first place. What's also interesting about Airen is when we see that it's the most planted grape previously and the most planted white grape, we then see Spain actually producing the most wine on this whole planet, which is something we would never think about because we typically drink American wine or French wine or Australian wine. But it's really cool to realize that there's much more wine on this planet than you think of. And one of the sad things that I think about before I go to bed every night is that I maybe might not have the opportunity to drink every single wine on this planet, but it's a goal we should all have. Another really cool thing we think about when we see these top 10 most planted grapes is that these are only 10 grapes or 10 grape varietals out of 10,000 plus different grape varietals that exist in this planet. And now more than ever in America, we have this great opportunity to try all these grapes. Say you really love Chardonnay, don't forget to go out and check out maybe Kerner, which is a more off the beaten path grape from Italy, or Falanghina. This is a really fantastic opportunity as well to be more cognizant of what you find yourself liking and utilize your local wine professionals. I think what's really amazing about having a wine professional in your life is we're there to recommend you things. You don't have to love everything we recommend, but it's our goal to be there with you to kind of curate this journey. What's really amazing about wine is that wine is armchair travel. I think there are no other beverages in the world where you can pick up your glass, smell it, take a sip, and be transported there. So in my glass this evening, I have a little Blaufränkisch from Austria. And when I go to smell and sip this wine, it takes me to the beautiful, warm Pannonian plain overlooking the really beautiful Neusiedlersee Lake. And these flavors of this kind of warmer climate and spicy grape variety really manifest themselves and truly tell the story of this place. Another cool thing I like to think about when tasting wine is logic. Personally, I have a background based in science and history, and that's why I kind of fell in love with this. To me, what's really cool about wine is, each thing in the glass is a manifestation of biochemical reactions, and they all come from a place that has a culture and a story, and there's a reason these grapes are grown on these soils and these really cool parts of the world. So what's really interesting about that is that it is a logic problem. As someone who loved the little logic boxes you would do in second grade, or if there's anybody watching this evening who's taken an LSAT and has had to do logic problems there, that is what wine is for, I think, at least me, and for hopefully many others who go to enjoy it. What's really logical about wine is very much telling the story of what it is. It's a grape from a place touched by humankind. So when we go to learn how to taste wine and truly interact with wine, the more and more seasoned of a taster we become, the easier it is to really pick apart these things of, oh, maybe this grape has this really beautiful black pepper kind of jumping out of the glass. That might be Syrah, or a grape that has rhododendron. Wow, this wine is really chiseled with brightness in the palate that really, lifts all the food that's on my palate off. Maybe it has higher acidity from a cooler climate. And maybe we see kind of this little touch of vanilla, cardamom, and baking spice, which would be new French oak. So with that, we see new oak, Syrah, from the Northern Rhone. So fun ways we can think about wine are just like that. It's just an easy logic quiz of once we start picking up on flavors and knowing what exists, we will see what goes on in the glass. So now I'm going to take the opportunity to talk through kind of what I think about wine and the different stages I taste wine. So first and foremost, whether white wine, red wine, orange wine, rosé, the first thing I'm going to do is actually look down at the glass, kind of through the light that's above me. And here we're going to notice that in our glass, there are actually more than one color going on there. We'll have kind of the color concentration hanging out in the core, and then we'll fade out to something we as professionals call rim variation. This will tell you, one, maybe what grape it is. They're thin-skinned grapes, six-thing grapes, grapes that see noble rot. So for example, say you're drinking Pinot Noir or Grenache, you will always be able to see through the wine and see your watch. Also Sangiovese or Nebbiolo, whereas say you're drinking Cabernet or Malbec or something with much more structure in the skin or something thicker, it'll be a deep purple and we won't be able to read our watch through it. After this, we do the very famous swirl. To me, the swirl is all in the wrist. Or if you do not feel like spilling wine all over yourself, I recommend kind of putting it on the table and letting centrifugal force do all the work for you. After that, I'm going to take the look at the glass one more time and see what's kind of hanging out around the edge. We call this the legs, the tiers, the viscosity. And what this means is how much stuff is in this glass, how much alcohol, sugar, protein. So kind of lighter bodied wines will have kind of further apart tiers or legs and kind of quickly move down the glass. Or stuff with higher alcohol, more sugar, more going on. We're going to see this very slow, creepy crawl to the bottom of the glass. Also these barbershop type cones. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to smell the wine. And when I like to smell, I actually like to keep my mouth open. And what that does is actually all of your flavor receptors are in your retronasal cavity. Anything people have told you about tasting from your tongue is not true. Your tongue is basically your hand. It's basically a tactile sensation. If it's salty, if it's sweet, if it's hot, if it's sour, but it's not going to tell you if it tastes like banana or cherry or strawberry. And that's what we're going to smell with our mouth open for. And we're going to think through the wine and be thinking, you know, what fruit is there? For white wine, for me, it's at least citrus, orchard fruit, pitted fruit, tropical fruit, and then occasionally melon. And then for red fruit, is there red fruit, black fruit, or blue fruit? After we think about that, we're going to dive into, you know, what non-fruit elements are there? Is there table spice? Is there tea? Is there flowers? What other distinctive characteristics exist within this wine? And then lastly, we're going to look for any winemaking techniques. So if we're looking at a white wine, we'll see maybe there'll be this hazelnut brioche coming from contact with the lees, or we'll see kind of this butteriness coming from malolactic fermentation. Also, we'll see maybe this impact of oak with different spices, with vanilla, cardamom, baking spice being French oak, and then with kind of dill, suntan lotion, as appetizing as that sounds, and coconut coming from American oak. So with that being said, we're then going to put the wine in our pellet. And then take our swallow. So I always recommend kind of swirling it around your mouth to give your whole palate the opportunity to interact with it. So first I'm going to think about the structure here, which is how the wine feels, that tactile sensation on the palate. So the first thing I'm going to think about is acidity. And kind of that means where does it kind of tinge my chin and how quickly do I want another sip? After that, if it's a red wine, I'm going to think about tannin. And what tannin is the actual drying of your palate. It's actually the exact same thing you see in the chloroplast that holds water in the cell. So kind of a drying thing, which you'll see in most red wine, will be tannin. And then we'll breathe up and see if there's any alcohol there, any warmth in the kind of chest. And then after that, we're going to think about, hey, did it taste like how it smelled? And in that opportunity, we'll see, you know, maybe flavors we like, flavors we don't like. And for example, I'm someone who loves really aromatic red wines that jump out of the glass with roses and flowers. So I typically love Syrah, I love Nebbiolo, but say I didn't know as much about wine and spend as much time with the flashcards and books, I could walk into a wine store and say, hey, I like really aromatic red wines that are medium bodied, what do you have? Or say I'm at a restaurant, one thing I'm always a huge proponent of is just being really straightforward with your sommelier and say, hey, I typically drink Pinot Grigio and Sauvignon Blanc. What do you recommend that's in this price point? And just bring me whatever you think will be cool. And I think it's a really great opportunity we all have today in the 21st century to truly enjoy the wines of Greece, the wines of Argentina, the wines of New Zealand, the wines of India. There's plenty of amazing winemaking regions on this planet. And the more we think about tasting and the more curious we get, the more opportunities we're going to have to explore the world, just like the more opportunities we're going to be able to provide through Synergies works. So thank you all so much for the opportunity to talk tonight, and glad to take some questions from the crowd.
John, I've been trying to follow along, but I can't swirl and host at the same time. So I'm just going to put this down and come back to it. Okay, we have lots of questions, so we're going to get right to it. Actually, before we get right to your question, I have a question for the audience. We have another pop quiz question, okay? The question is, what country has the most expensive average bottle price for a bottle of wine? All right, send us those answers and we will get you a mask or a t-shirt. All right, so question for John. What is your favorite region of America wine-wise outside of California or Oregon?
Ooh, that is a great question.
The two good ones.
I first jumped into California and Oregon.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I think one of the most exciting winemaking regions in America is the Walla Walla Valley over in Washington. Really cool area that's left over from an old riverbed. Tons of really cool stony soil, just like Châteauneuf-du-Pape. And I think it makes delicious Syrah and Grenache. And I definitely think that's a region worth checking out.
Okay, I will look for that. Okay, another question. What are the unusual grapes that you love? And what should we look for beyond the basic Chardonnay or Pinot Noir?
Definitely. So the weirdest, most off the beaten path grapes I really like, I would say definitely the most off the beaten path is a grape called the Sirtico, coming from Santorini in Greece. And I think what's really exciting about that grape is it's coming from an old volcano. So this nice, beautiful, smoky, lemon-driven, piney wine that I think is super fantastic to try. Another really off the beaten path grape I really love comes from Spain, known as Grenache Tanturera. And you can see that kind of based out of the Extremadura region. And that's this really beautiful purple fruit-driven kind of spice box style of red wine that's fun. But I always would argue to find new wines and try different things that are off the beaten path. Look at places with really cool histories. Look how long people have been making wine in Greece or making wine in the Canary Islands or Madeira. You can't have agriculture without culture. So I think in places we see a wine growing culture are always places to try new grapes. Also, another fun thing is if you're tired of Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, another thing you can do is look at the grapes the locals drink. So specifically with Burgundy, we'll see Aligoté and Gamay, two very similar grapes that are really fun to drink.
You know, India has a very interesting long history, but it is getting there in terms of its wine culture, right? So, I'd love to get your thoughts on that offline because we have many more questions for you. All right. Ashley Nicole Jones wants to know, I have heard about organic wines with sulfites or additives. What are the significant differences and what do you think about them?
That's my answer. So I think it is an interesting thing we see in the 21st century that's been this weird kind of almost like marketing ploy. Because if you look at sulfur in wine, it's less than sulfur in dried nuts. It's less than sulfur in anything packaged. It's less than anything you'll see typically throughout the whole supermarket. It's actually a pretty minimal amount of sulfur. And to contain sulfites, it's less than 10 parts per million of sulfur dioxide in a bottle of wine. So weirdly enough, like sulfur is pretty non-existent in the grand scheme of things. So I will say that. But I think organic and biodynamic in those words refer to what's done in the field. So I think it's a really important thing to do in regards to farming, to be giving back to the world and taking care of everything. So whatever you say, biodynamic or organic, it means what they're doing in the field versus maybe they might not do something right in the cellar, maybe do something delicious in the cellar. So I do think it's always great to be a cognizant buyer and supporting great agricultural things, whether it's organic or biodynamic or giving back. But I think those are terms that refer more towards farming than wine. So I do think there are plenty of amazing wineries that don't advertise they do that and make great wine, and there are plenty that do maybe more conventional farming that make great wine. So I think it all comes down to what you love drinking. But at the end of the day, there actually isn't that much sulfur in wine. In regards to additives, that's typically in like Franzia. So if you're avoiding Franzia and Carlo Rossi, there are no additives in your wine. Great question.
I have to ask, you've brought up Franzia. So when it comes to boxed wine, I feel like the boxed wine game has really stepped up their game.
Oh, definitely.
And now you see boxed wine, you see like cans. Are there any favorites or one that we should maybe look out for if we're looking for that cheap party wine?
Definitely. This is, I think it's Le Grappin is one of my personal favorites I've had before. But I definitely recommend if you're looking for like that box wine for the party, maybe take yourself to a more hipster, off the beaten path wine shop.
Yeah, can you believe I asked that question? Really?
No, it's a great question. And also, full disclosure, I like Franzia blush on occasion when I wind up at a party with other millennials that haven't started drinking real wine yet. But I do think
with
there are
some ice, right?
Definitely, or straight from the bag.
Right.
But definitely, there are plenty of fantastic opportunities. Kind of, you see the premiumization of box wine. And plenty of great producers that do it. And I think at the end of the day, for me, not all wine has to be fancy. Wine's about making sure you have something that makes you happy and something that's truly delicious.
Awesome. Well, John, I mean, again, we have a million questions coming in for you as well, but we are just out of time. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. We appreciate you and all of your tips and thoughts about wine.
Perfect. No, thank you all so much. And if anybody has any questions still left over, feel free to reach out at Jonathan Drinks Wine on Instagram. Glad to answer any and all questions you have about the world of wine, and I'm on there way too often as a millennial. So definitely glad to help out with wine selections or whatever you need. And thank you all so much for joining Synergies this evening.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay, so we have an answer for you. We got lots to cover in the next minute and a half. So answer for you for the pop quiz question that we just asked you. So the expensive average bottle of wine cost is in New Zealand. Bet y'all didn't know that. I bet someone knew that because someone actually won the prize. So yeah, all right. So keep those donations coming. Make sure you're getting your raffle tickets. We're going to draw that raffle in about 10-ish minutes. So get those raffle tickets purchased. Okay, and we have a big donation to shout out. So Deborah Long and Fiserv just donated $1,000, which is amazing. Thank you so much, Fiserv and Deborah. And, that we need more people like you in the world to help out our entrepreneurs. And all of you who are donating, we appreciate you. All right, let's hear from another one of our Synergies Work entrepreneurs and impact grantees.
Synergy got me the impact grant, and what that impact grant is going to do, it's going to help me get my vision out there of making a difference for people with disability. There's so many people that have a disability that may be misunderstood just because they have a disability. Some people may say, well, you have a disability, how are you going to make an impact on the world? How are you going to get out? How are you going to do some of the more challenging things that some people say, like get married, have kids, go to college, own a business? I'm going to show them how we're going to make that difference by the money that Synergy has given me through the impact grant. I'm going to go around and videotape not only myself, but other individuals who have a disability, who really have capturing stories, who really tell a story whenever you hear them talk, whenever you hear them move, whenever you hear them out in you see them out in the community, you say, wow, that guy is great.
Synergy Works has allowed me to find and create a more clear picture of how I plan to build a future entrepreneur business based on service. It has helped me build a better idea of how to advertise said services. For me, on the spectrum, I don't do the best on condensing. I may provide too much information, or provide, or may perhaps go off on a bit of a tangent. So Synergies has helped me practice and improve how to deliver a 1-minute elevator speech. They've helped me learn what I need in searching for how to build my business, what I need maybe in a website. Also, they've also provided some tips for me on budgeting, managing expenses, what to do, how to keep the professional and personal expenses in life separate. It's constantly encouraged me to be able to ask for help and find new ways to look at solving a solution, solving a problem.
Synergies Work is an answer to all the questions one has about how to start a business. My son Aaron had an idea about his business, and we had no idea where to start. Synergies Work was a fantastic program, practical, accessible, taking us from A to Z. Instead of an amorphous idea about what his business will be, Synergies Work program helped him hone the idea, develop an elevator speech, think about who his audience is, so that we can move forward in terms of creating the business.
Namaste, welcome. I'm Ashish Thakur, and I'm a board member of Synergies Work. I have a physically disabled mother and an autistic nephew, so this cause and organization is very dear to me. As our chairwoman Karen Hunter mentioned earlier, this work is possible because of generous donations and support of the community that is here. All Synergies Work programs are offered virtually free. So we have a goal of raising $10,000 in this hour. And in the next 7 minutes, any donations made will be matched by our Synergies board members. We actually have raised $9,600 so far in total for the day. We have $400 left to go that will be matched. So thank you for your donations today. We'll also draw a lucky winner who will get a $50 gift card from Total Wines in this next 7 minutes who donates. So this past year, I had the privilege of being part of the Synergies Work Eye to Eye or Ideas to Incubation business program. For 8 weeks, our cohort of 15 entrepreneurs met with top business leaders from across the country. During the program, Synergies Work had weekly one-on-one sessions with our entrepreneurs to help them develop their business ideas, research their target market, and connect with mentors and resources. I personally spent many hours with various cohort members as a mentor and guide. At the end of the program, we successfully launched 6 businesses. This program works. But this is just the beginning. We'll continue to support and mentor these businesses as they launch until they become sustainable. Running a business is a marathon, not a sprint. And Synergies Work is here for you for the long haul. We just had some more donations come in from Vikram, Madeline, Jabari. Thanks for your donations. I'm humbled by this generosity this evening, and I will turn it back to the beautiful MC Kashi.
Hi. Hi, Ashish. Thank you. Good to see you. Okay, so we are in the portion of the evening where we are just going to start giving things away because you guys have bought your raffle tickets. So before we get to raffle tickets, we've been talking about the cheese board and we want to crown the winner. It is Mona Kosla. So Mona, congratulations. And you must be really enjoying that cheese board. I'm jealous. I wish I had one in front of me, but we will get to that. Okay, let us get to this long list of raffle ticket prizes. We are going to start drawing those, so I hope you guys got your tickets in. The first thing that we are drawing for is the 2 tickets to SeaWorld. And I believe the winner is Arun Mohanchandra. I hope I said that correctly. So Arun is winning the SeaWorld tickets. Congrats, Arun. All right, the next prize is, so we have 3 sets of leaf dishes that are made by Mina Hong. And you saw Mina earlier in the video. So she's made these dishes and we have 3 sets. We're going to give out all 3. So the first winner is Anuja Kosla. And the second winner is Scarlett Foster. And our third winner for the plates, which are amazing, by the way, you guys are going to love them, is Arun Mohanchandra. Okay, so Arun's winning 2 things already. I hope you guys all got your raffle tickets in because Arun's already cleaning up. Okay. Our next prize is an original painting by May Hotard, and you saw her in the video earlier. And who won the artwork? Lisa Quilici? I hope I said that correctly. But Lisa, congratulations. Their artwork is amazing. And right now, Reimagine is over my artwork, but I've got some artwork back here from one of our Synergies Work artists. Okay, moving right along. We have a 30-minute private session with John Eicholtz, who we just heard from. And Susie Lotharius is going to win that 30-minute session. So congrats, Susie. Yay. I wish I had that. All right, now we have a private art session with art instructor Bill Ruck. And the winner is, I wish I had a little envelope that I could open. The winner is Edwina Payne. So Edwina, congratulations. Lucky, lucky. All right. Next on our list, we have a $75 gift card to Fox Brothers Barbecue, which is delicious. So I'm very jealous of this one. And Peter Rao McCann is winning this gift card to Fox Brothers. So enjoy your barbecue. And I'm totally up for coming along, by the way, if you need a guest. Okay. The next gift card is to Elon's Bakery and Market, which has delicious sandwiches and salads and all kinds of yummy treats. It's a $50 gift card. And Leisha Young is winning this gift card to Elon's Bakery. So congrats to you, Alicia. Okay, and so next up, we have 2 gift baskets. They are, let's see, 2 gift baskets with a $75 gift certificate to Variation Salon in East Cobb. And the 2 people who are winning those are Sharon Taylor. So congrats, Sharon. And Adele Patrick. So the 2 of you get to kick back, get some awesome salon services, and really enjoy yourself at the end of this 2020. So congrats to the both of you. All right, we have one more prize, just one. So fingers crossed, hope you get it. It is an iPad mini. It's an iPad mini 4. It's 128 gigs. So this is pretty awesome. This is a good prize. And who is going to win this? Scarlett Foster. Scarlett, congratulations. I hope you watch lots of awesome movies and read a few good books on that. Okay, so those are all the raffle prizes. It is now over. We have done the cheese board winner. We are now going to tell you who won that 7-minute donation call that Ashish made. It's that Total Wine gift card. I wish we had a drum roll or something. But we are waiting for a name. And Catherine Hotard is going to win that gift card. So congrats, Catherine, and thank you so much for donating. We really appreciate you. Okay, so that brings us to the end of all the things we are giving away today. We have raised some money tonight. We definitely have more to raise, I think. But do we have a final total on what we have raised so far? That will come to us any minute. But I will remind all of you that it is Giving Tuesday, and we have a goal to raise $10,000. So we are hoping to do that by the end of the evening. And we are at, is this the right number? Wow. We are at 9,755. So can you get us across the finish line before we end tonight? That is our call to you. And don't forget that you can get matching donations from your company. Some of you can. So take advantage of that, and we will help you get that figured out if you need to get it figured out. But don't forget those matching donations. It's so important. Okay. I think that's all I've got for you. So we are going to close out the evening and bring in our founder, Arthi Sehgal, once again. Arthi, I think you're muted.
There we are. Yeah.
There we go.
Thank you, Kashi. Thank you for today, for bringing it all together, and for the entire year that you have done to support Synergies' work. And if you think this is the end, you're sadly mistaken. You're stuck with me for the lifetime now. And thanks to our esteemed guests, to all of you, to John, to Suvir. Once you are with Synergies' work, you are there for the family for your lifetime. And I have so many people to thank that if I call out every name, we'll probably be sitting here till January 1st. But there are tons of people that make Synergies work. from all the esteemed speakers, business leaders, artists who devote their time and expertise to us, to the people who have our advisors, who guide us and inspire us to work harder, to Karen and Jabari of Sign One News, who have put together this entire event and worked with me and the entire team for so many days. Thank you so much. From all the entrepreneurs and the artists and their families who give us trust and put faith in us, to Robin Rain, who takes their stories and makes these beautiful stories, tells their beautiful stories to, and created these videos for us. Thank you. We're a small team at Synergies Work, but that small team is very powerful. And I'm so grateful to Shlok, who should actually be awarded the award for patience, because he's been there since inception and has worked with me. So thank you, Shlok, to Amani, to Bill, who go way beyond what is expected from them. They just give without asking anything in return. And most importantly, I want to thank my board. My board is incredible, the past and the present board members. But the last 1 year, the 3 people who have worked and more, who have worked with me, has been Meena Hong, Ashish Thakur, and Karen Hunter. Despite all the difficulties, their hectic schedules, COVID days, bad hair days, we have met on a monthly basis together, and they have supported me, and they have supported Synergies Work with their passion and their time and their resources. And I cannot thank them enough for what they bring to the table. And on that note, I want to bring in the board chair, Karen Hunter, my friend, and the rock of Synergies Work. Karen, I invite you to raise a toast.
So first off, I want to give a huge thank you to Johnny Mason, who is a former board member, for donating $500 and getting us over our $10,000 mark tonight. So that is a huge, huge thing. Thank you so much, Johnny. It's so wonderful to have you as part of our community. And we miss you very much as a board member. This has been an amazing year of reimagining what Synergies Works can be and what entrepreneurship and inclusion looks like. As we go out this evening, we want to invite you to continue to work with us to change lives and help build the future of people with disabilities. You have the opportunity to share with us in donating and becoming a sustaining member. And also, if you want to become part of the board, if you want to be involved in I2I or any of the programs we're working in, please feel free to reach out to us. We're always looking for people to come and help be part of our community in a hands-on level. We've had such a great time spending this hour with you, and we're grateful that all of you could be here. We're so grateful for Suvira and John for coming in and sharing their knowledge. Thank you so much for our entrepreneurs who show up every day with excitement, with determination, and with their passion. And they are the reason that we're here. So I ask you all to charge your glasses. And I make a special thanks to my friends, Arti and Angit Sagal, who without this, we would not be here. And so thank you and cheers.
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 Thank you so much. Cheers.
Cheers, everyone, and good night.
Good night. Bye-bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.